Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our special meeting of the Board of Education on December 16th at 7 o'clock. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for national anthem, and Emily and Ava Californo are going to sing. Ava?
Yeah, we're ready.
You're on.
1, 2. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you so much. For those who know, Emily was our valedictorian in 2019, the last really good year of full classes, and Ava's her sister, who's a junior, right? And thank you so much for tonight. And hope to see you soon. Kath, it's your turn to say goodnight to Stella.
Stella, this is Grammy's last board meeting, and I hope you have some fun watching me with all my friends, and I will see you soon. Good night, sweetheart.
Good night. Good night, Stella. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next is our Cognitive Regional High School reporters, Jaden, Katie, and Noel.
Hi. Katie and as well as thank you for allowing us to express our gratitude on behalf of the entire student body for the innumerable things Dr. Serino has done for us and our entire district. When I think about my years in the district, one of the largest things that has stuck with me, and honestly one of the greatest impacts on my life, was the Chinese exchange program she endorsed last year. The program gave me personally the chance to get to know two amazing on the other side of the world, and with this gave our school the chance to expand a global perspective. Although we were unable to go to China in the spring due to reasons beyond anyone's control, the impact the exchange in the fall had was great enough to last me a lifetime, and although I may never see our exchange friends again, I'm grateful for the experience that you helped create.
When I feel like things are falling apart, the one thing that I can always turn to is music. We came into this school year not knowing how much music we would be able to make, or even if we would be able to play and sing at all. Your support for the music program has allowed us to continue rehearsing together, and as of today, rehearsing with Mr. Fisher. Being in the auditorium again means so much to all of us, especially for us seniors, as we have been given this chance to make music with and for our friends one last time. I want to say thank you so much for your continuous support of the music department.
One great fear I had of this year was how the whole athletic program was going to go. And we just really wanted to express our gratitude for your support, even though it was so difficult to work around many things. It was hard to balance safety and the overall well-being of students at many times, but the fact that we were able to get a whole season in, even with certain restrictions, is something I could never have imagined back in the summer. I was so happy to have gotten the chance to run my last meet with the teammates who I now consider family after having run with them for so many years. So on behalf of all fall athletes and all athletes in general, I just want to thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you, guys. Any other comments for our student reporters? Well, thank you very much and have a good night and have a very good holiday.
Thank you, guys.
Next is item 5, recognition of Dr. Serino by the board and our invited guests. And we'd like to start with Norm Hicks with a proclamation. Norm?
Thank you, Bob. I have prepared a proclamation for Kathy, which we've done in the past, but this one certainly has some special meaning. So let's begin. Be it known to all that on this date, Catherine Y. Serino, distinguished and beloved superintendent of schools since January 2014, is duly recognized and acknowledged for her dedication to the children and citizens of Regional School District 13 community. And whereas Catherine Serino, having served with honor and distinction, hereby concludes this challenge for the responsibility of educating our youth. Be it known that by these words, her deeds and her positive manner will long be remembered and cherished by this Board of Education, the towns of Durham and Middlefield, and indeed our children. And whereas Catherine Serino served this district as its 4th superintendent, her persistent attention to detail, promoting and continually reinforcing the inherent value of each individual in the district, her focus on the well-being of all, and her willingness to work tirelessly on behalf of the district have made Regional School District 13 a better place. Her unwavering commitment and her vision of operational success for this community will long be remembered as a guide for those that follow in future public service. And whereas Catherine Serino demonstrated her tireless work ethic on many initiatives for the district, including Portrait of a Citizen, Strategic Coherence Planning, ACES China Partnership, Outdoor Graduation, STEAM Initiative, Current School Closing, and Educational Rounds, utilizing her extensive background that provided insightful direction and has positively impacted the work of the board in moving the district forward. And whereas Catherine Serino demonstrated unwavering leadership on all subcommittees for this board, notably student achievement, educational resources, policy, facilities utilization, finance, well-being, and human resources, having actively participated in over 500 meetings during her 7-year tenure. Her vast knowledge and voice of reason provided insightful direction and proudly moved the district and the community to new heights. And whereas Catherine Serino made a difference in leading the district during a worldwide pandemic to continue the process of providing our youth with high quality educational opportunities under the most demanding circumstances, and demonstrated determination and common sense that provided this district with balance and a clear point of view for the successful continuation of education for all. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Regional District 13 Board of Education, on the 16th day of December 2020, proudly salute Catherine Serino and encourage others to do the same. And join us in recognizing Catherine Serino, a woman who made an extraordinary difference in the success of this school district and the advancement of its mission. All this is with our sincere gratitude for your unselfish service. By your actions, you have distinguished yourself and brought great pride upon this community, our schools, and its children. Signed, Robert E. Moore, Chairman, Norman W. Hicks, Secretary, Christine Garaci, Treasurer. At this time, it is an honor to place this document as a motion for approval by the Board of Education and have this document attached to the minutes of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you very much. Thank you, Norm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Norm. Thank you.
Our next-
Well deserved.
Our next speaker is Ed Bailey. I think you're there, Ed.
Yes, hi there. I didn't know I was up next. Well, hi, Kath. Yeah, we're doing this by Zoom. What times we live in, huh?
Well, there's a storm coming in that's named after our first selectman.
Yes, yeah, Storm Bailey. All right. Yeah, you would have to mention that, Bob. What I'd like
Hey, I
to
got your back, Ed.
what I'd like to do is just read for you a resolution of the Board of Selectmen. We have not actually enacted this resolution because we didn't have a board meeting yet this month, but we will next week, next Tuesday, and this will be presented to the Board of Selectmen for approval, and I think it will be unanimously approved. And if I could just read that, read it into the record right now, and on next Tuesday, the Board of Selectmen will take it up and read it into our official record. Resolution of the Board of Selectmen. Be it known that the citizens of Middlefield and Rockfall hereby recognize and applaud Catherine Serino for her service to Regional School District 13 as superintendent. And whereas Catherine Serino is recognized for her untiring dedication to providing leadership to provide the best possible education for the youth of our town. And whereas Catherine Serino has fostered a great relationship between Regional School District 13, our town government, and its citizens. And whereas Catherine Serino's leadership, passion, and dedication is an outstanding example of citizenship to our community, our state, and our country. And so now, therefore, the Middlefield Board of Selectmen, recognizing these contributions of Catherine Serino, approved this resolution on December 22nd, 2020, and is recorded in the official records of the town of Middlefield. And Kath, I'll present you with a framed, signed resolution for your for empty wall space, if you so choose.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed. I'm going to be switching back and forth between board members and others. So I knew that Laura Francis has a meeting of the Water Commission tonight, one of my issues after my own heart. But anyway, I'd like to ask Carrie Flanagan, the previous board chair, if she would like to say a word.
First, I'll get off I'll get unmuted, right? Hi, everybody. Well, I've been sitting here thinking about what's been said so far, and the proclamations by both Norm and Ed are so fantastic. I feel honored, really, to have had the opportunity to know Kathy. I learned a lot from her as a leader. It was amazing to me how you came in to the situation that you did and contributed so much. So it's truly been an honor. I'm so thankful for what you've accomplished in this district. So proud of the school district, and I don't think I could have asked for a better experience in working on the board with the superintendent. So thank you for your support and your contributions. They mean a lot.
Thank you,
I
Carrie.
guess that's it.
Thank you, Carrie.
Previous board member also like to call on Merrill Adams. I know you're there, Merrill.
Okay, I see it now. I'm 78 years old. I'm allowed to do this. Kath, I wanted to tell you that we also felt so glad that we had hired CES when we had an executive search for you, because we said we wanted someone with a lot of experience and a whole raft of other things. And we were gotten to the point where we were very disappointed by the people that we were interviewing. And I think it was Greg Griffith, whom we had hired. And she said, you should look at this person. And someone said, well, does she have a lot of experience? Well, no, she doesn't, but you should look at her. So I think some people said no, but almost everybody said yes, right, Norm and Carrie. And so you came in and you sat down, and it was a good impression from the very beginning. And one of the wonderful things that you have done the whole time you've been here is listen to everyone. Now, I think you knew all our names after we introduced ourselves, but maybe we were wearing name tags. I don't know. But that's the other thing. You always remember who everyone is. And as we asked you questions, you answered them, and you paid attention to what we were saying. And you weren't going to put on the Kath show so everybody knew who you were and all your accomplishments. We had to ask you about those things. And not only were you modest, but knowledgeable, and so many things that we wanted, that at the end of that evening, a couple of us walked out, and might have been Carrie, don't remember who said it, but somebody said, we can't let this one get away. And that was exactly how most of us felt. So we are so happy about that. And it has been a wonderful time. I'm so proud of what this district has done, and it continues to do. And I think you set the stage for a lot of things. So thank you.
Thank you, Meryl.
I'd ask Bob to read a letter from the Board of Finance of Middlefield and add his own comments.
Would you mind? Would you mind if I?
Oh, you did
made the
join us.
comments? Yes.
Jim, yes, I didn't know you
Please
joined
do,
us,
Jim.
and I would really rather have you read your own. So thank you, Jim.
Okay. Thanks very much. So on behalf of myself and the Board of Finance of Middlefield, we would like to say a heartfelt thank you to you, Catherine, for your leadership over the last 7 years. I first met Catherine with Bob Yarmartino at a coffee shop in Middletown before school one day. I was immediately struck with her genuine demeanor and her listening skills that Meryl mentioned. Those attributes have enabled her successful engagement with staff, with Board of Ed colleagues, with community members in each and every advancement and interaction of her tenure. Kath, we're very grateful for your move toward greater dialogue and interaction with us, your stakeholder communities. You gave us confidence to trust that your primary objective of maximizing the capabilities and character of your students would be balanced at budget time by the economic reality of your supporting communities. We've been fortunate to enjoy your true leadership. In my own career, I observed and learned that leaders point the directions and then obtain commitment from their colleagues to pursue them. Your strategic coherence plans, your portrait of a citizen work, the initiation of the linkage with China, your focus on student well-being, your push to raise staff capabilities, the list from the proclamations goes on and on. These are all examples of excellence in your role that has elevated our school district. But I must share a Kath story. So one Board of Ed meeting was particularly difficult. Middlefield residents were challenging both the closure of Lyman School, which was a decision that had been made nearly a year earlier, and challenging the move toward a unified academic program. So public comment at that meeting lasted an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. While Carl Stoop, Chuck Stengel, and I sat watching as Catherine maintained her ever-present grace, but you could tell she was really frustrated by the late coming viewpoints. So after the meeting, I got her ear in the hallway and I said to her, your plans and your work are absolutely solid. Well, she looked me in the eye and she replied, Jim, I think I need more support than 3 old white guys in the front row. So I've been smiling about that bit of wisdom for several years now. Anyway, Dr. Serino, on behalf of our board, Dave Lowery, Mary Wolak, Joel Nick, Melissa Cowell, Michael Skelps, and myself, we wish you absolutely the best. We're profoundly appreciative for the guidance, the energy, the direction you've offered to RSD13 and our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Bob, you want to speak?
Yes, I did. Bob Moore said we were welcome to speak, but to try to limit our comments to an hour and a half. So as most of you know, that'll be a real challenge for me. But Catherine, as a child in church, I learned that each of God's children are blessed with certain gifts and talents. And ultimately, it's how we each develop and use those gifts in our life's journey that is the most important thing. Kath, you are certainly a very talented and gifted educator. Amongst your skills of leadership, you're truly an educator, and that's where I think I would like to focus my points tonight. You have developed your talents as an educator and shared them with all of us in our community. As an educator, it's incumbent that you continue to learn throughout your life and then pass that knowledge on to others. But more importantly, that you pass along the knowledge and skills that allow those around you to grow and develop their own talents, explore their own passions, and fulfill their life's ambitions. You have done that at every level in our community, be it with the board, be it with other commissions, with the teachers, and of course, the students, the staff, the administration. You have planted a vision of a single educational path at our elementary and middle schools that encompasses the best of the HUT programs and project-based learning. You've moved the district to individualized student assessments and goal setting. You've implemented professional development and coaching programs for our teachers so that they may continue to grow and develop their skills and talents. You've formulated and facilitated the portrait of a citizen to help our students, parents, teachers, administrators, the board, to fully explore, define, and articulate our shared expectations of the result of an RSD13 education. You've fostered a sense of community where diversity and inclusion, social and emotional well-being are not just words, but genuinely palpable to our senses. You have embraced community outreach and forums for discussions of relevant and sometimes contentious issues. You have helped the board to understand your views and positions while listening to our often disparate views. That is no easy task. And you've helped us to ultimately draw a consensus conclusion as a board. And you've done so much more. So as this chapter in your life's journey ends, I think of the thousands of lives that you have touched, the future you have altered. And I'd like to thank you for all of that you've shared with us and taught us over the years. Your many gifts, your many talents, the acts of kindness you've shown, your passion for education will all be missed. I wish you the very best of health and happiness on this next leg of your life's journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I wonder, Brian, were you planning to say anything tonight from the faculty?
Bob, I couldn't, because you were talking to me.
Yeah, you.
Scott is actually going to speak on behalf of the administrative team this evening. So I don't know where he is on my screen. I don't see his checker up here, but I think he's speaking on behalf of us.
I'm right here, Bob. So I'll start a little personal, and then we'll get into just some very brief remarks, because I don't know that I can say much more than already been said. But Kath, we met officially 7+ years ago when the board brought you in to meet with the administrative team in what was the conference room, now your office. And if you remember, you pulled me aside right before we met with you into the little workroom, the lunchroom, and you made a comment about Judy Richard, who was our interim pupil services director here in district and a former colleague of mine in a previous district and former colleague of Cass. And knowing you and your memory, you probably remember exactly what you said to me, but it's gone right now. So maybe at some point remind me. But whatever it was you said and how you said it, which is in a typical manner of you, it was an immediate connection. And I think you have that gift that you connect with people immediately. You read people incredibly well, you know people well, and what you've done for our district in that manner and getting to know us and getting to know the community is remarkable. It really is. Speaking for Strong School, and I know I'm speaking for the administrators, and I'm probably speaking for every building, you know, the commitment you've made to every building, the visits, the walkabouts, visiting classrooms, spending time in classrooms with you, spending time in the office, drinking coffee, just talking, and everyone has already said, and you listening. The gift that you have of listening and then being able to take what you've heard and synthesize and provide that back in a supportive manner has been remarkable. Speaking for the A team, your nickname for us, your guidance, your honesty, your patience, and there's been a lot of that because there's been a lot of reason for that at times. In particular, since March, you know, we could not have asked for a better example of leadership through an unprecedented and unique and challenging time. Your humor, somehow through all of this, you've maintained that, and that has been an absolute blessing to all of us, because there are times where we didn't want to laugh. We probably wanted to cry, and you gave us that platform to express ourselves and know that we were heading in the right direction with you. As a result of you, we are better people, we are better leaders, we're better administrators as a result of the time we've had to spend with you. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for just the privilege and the honor of spending these last 7+ years working with you side by side, knee to knee. And to say that you will be missed is an absolute understatement. So thank you for absolutely everything.
Thank you, Scott, and my A team.
I think I see Nancy Earls. Were you going to say anything?
All right. Hi, Kath. It's lovely to be invited to this party. I have a folk singer who I like. Her name is Carrie Newcomer, and she has this song called that she wrote for her daughter called "You Can Do This Hard Thing." And I think of you because you walked into District 13, and someone else has recounted this as well, but into the scenario of trying to close a beloved school, trying to take the best of both programs and make one, and then the pandemic. And when I first met you, and even till today, as a former retired educator, I always felt like held up and honored and cared for by you. And then I realized that everybody feels that way when they're with you. I'm not unique. So students, you heard the students talking tonight, administrators, parents, and to juggle all of those people and to just navigate that with grace and thoughtfulness and endless energy and deep, 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 deep caring about everybody in District 13 is beyond what we can describe to you. So love you, miss you.
Thank you, Nance.
While Nancy was speaking, if any of you have not seen their recent work on the graduates on CDF's website, you should take a look at it because it's a remarkable commitment, a statement for the graduates from Coggins-Hogg over the last probably 30 years, I guess. So
yeah,
take a look at it.
We're going to do another one too. There's some that we haven't tapped the well at all.
Oh, great. Now to our attorney, Peter Marr from Shipman and Goodman.
All right. Well, thank you. I know the reputation of lawyers, so I will try to keep this brief. But thank you so much to Bob and the board for inviting me here to honor Dr. Serino. And on behalf of Shipman and Goodwin, I just want to congratulate you, Kath, on your well-deserved retirement. It's been an absolute honor being able to work with you over the last several years. And I'm just really personally grateful that our careers overlap for these last several years and that things worked out so that I got to begin working with Region 13. And, it's probably accurate to say that most people are not thrilled when they have to call a lawyer. And I understand that. But from my perspective, I was always thrilled and enjoyed being able to talk to Kathy, to you, Kath. And my job as a lawyer is to explain legal issues and legal requirements and give clients options about how to meet their objectives and the school district's needs. And what was great working with you, Kath, is that each and every time you started by looking at what was the right thing for the student or for the employee or for the family, and that knowing that doing the right thing for them was doing the right thing for the district. And that's something that, I've internalized and it will take away into my own practice in advising clients. So I thank you for that and your many, your perspectives and just really promoting the wellness and well-being of those who work for you or who attend your schools. And it's clear that, even when it was time to make difficult decisions, that sometimes you earn the respect of the various stakeholders, whether it's students and families in difficult matters, staff and unions, and that because, they know that you cared about them and their perspectives and their experiences. And I can tell you all, as a school district lawyer, you can't ask for much more in a client than that. And I would think that, you can't ask for much more in a leader than that. And so again, Kathy, on behalf of Shipman and Goodwin and all my colleagues who you've gotten a chance to work with over the years, both in Region 13 and before that, Ann and Sue and Rich and Rebecca and Kevin, and more recently, Bruce and Matt. Again, thank you and congratulations. And I'm glad you're going to get to spend some more time being Grammy and doing all the other things that you're able to do. So thank you.
Thanks, Pete. And thanks to the firm for the fruit basket that arrived today.
To a former board member, Nancy Boyle.
Hi, guys. It's an honor to be here tonight. Truly, I really just want to echo everything that was said prior. I think everybody's saying the same thing. Kathy, you've left such an indelible mark on all of us. And the one string that goes through your whole, I'm hearing everybody, is the love that I think we all feel for you and the love that you've admitted to this entire district, top down. I've told people, you know, they're looking to move into a town. I'm like, move into, you know, Middlefield, Durham. We've got a great district, and you helped us to create such a welcoming environment in our school district. And that is a gift that we'll keep giving for years to come. So I don't want to take too much more time, but I do want to say this. You have made us all feel like your family. You've given us love, sincerity, and we're all of us, I think, just totally grateful for that. So please go enjoy your family, enjoy your time with them, because I almost feel guilty. We've taken you away from them for so long. So please enjoy. God bless. Wish you all the best. Peace, love, hope, and true health. So thank you again, Kathy.
Thank you, Nance.
To a current board member, Lucy.
I'm going to say everything that everyone else said. I'm not going to repeat it, but I totally agree. I remember the day I first met you in the central office in the conference room when you were first hired as our superintendent. I sat across from you at the table and immediately felt that there was something about you that was just the right fit for our school district. And I wasn't wrong. That was over 7 years ago, and now you're about to retire. You will finally be able to have more time for your family and have some free time at last. Don't forget that there's a whole world of possibilities out there waiting for you. Take your time to decide and enjoy each adventure. Kathy, you will be sorely missed, but the legacy of your vision for Region 13 will continue for many years into the future for our students, our schools, and our communities. I wish you all the best as you retire. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay in touch. God bless. And at this point, I'd give you a big hug, but I can't do that now, so I'll do that at a later date.
Thank you, Lucy. I'll hug you back.
Victor, did you want to say anything?
I'm recalling a day, Kath, when I think you were doing a day-long tour of the schools. And I think perhaps it was before you were hired. And I got to tag along for a little bit of it. And it was a meeting with something like 15 students. The little library room was full of students, you know, with a few board members watching. And we all came in, and the 15 students each introduced themselves, and you asked some questions and they began responding. And there was a lot of participation. And when you called on each student by name. Now, I have trouble remembering names, and I was astonished at this skill because basically when those people said their names, you had them. And not only that, but it was, you know, this was a little chaotic. There was no particular program about this. You were just listening to students' concerns, their hopes, really, I think is what you asked them. But there were a couple of students who didn't volunteer anything. And before you left the room, you called on them by name to ask them if there was anything they wanted to add. And I feel as if for the last 7 years, you've been calling on people by name and asking them if they'd please like to add anything to whatever has already been said. I thought I saw an extraordinary skill and in service of an extraordinary degree of caring. So I have seen that, of course, over and over in the 7 years that we have been working together. And I have to say that I think the vision that you have exercised and the incredible transformation of the district, of the creation of the A team, and all the teams, so many teams that you have created. Oh my God, teams for every conceivable purpose, meaning that you got people to sign on and commit to work, and to commit to work together to reach goals. That has been altogether an extraordinary accomplishment. And I would have to say that for me, I feel extraordinarily privileged to have seen that. I have never seen leadership like that before. And also, I would just like to say that perhaps everyone doesn't realize, but I don't think there's a day when you didn't bring 120% of yourself to work. And I think just about every day you left about 10% of it on the floor when you went home. So I would like to apologize on behalf of myself if at any time I contributed to any of that 10% that you had to leave behind. Kathy, you've been an inspiration and you have made all our lives better. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor.
I'd like to ask Jeremy now.
Hi, folks. It's been said that Kathy is a good listener, and I can tell that she has a level of discernment not seen in a lot of people today. And I remember last year in December, we went to lunch during the workday at the Horseshoe Tavern, the former Time Out Tavern, and she said to me, we were talking about her interview process, which was 6 years, a little over 6 years prior, in the fall of 2013. And she said, I noticed that there was something that was bothering you. Your focus wasn't all there. And then I proceeded to tell her about something that I was going through at the time. But the fact that she could notice that, I guess it was kind of hard not to notice. I was sitting there fiddling with my flip phone, trying to text somebody and constantly opening and closing it all the time. But she picked up on that and she knew about it. And that meant a lot to me. Not that it was a big deal as far as what had previously happened in that situation of mine, but that she was aware of those things. And it's also said that the wheels of government turned very slowly. And when Kathy came in at the start of 2014, there was a lot of baggage that she had to walk into. We had a difficult time with the previous superintendent. Unfortunately, we had some staff, issues and sadness and breakups and things like that, and longtime employees who had left our employment, and just a rough situation. And she came in there and she helped. It took some time, but she helped put it all together, put it all back together, and restore those relationships, get people working with each other instead of, in their little silos where it's one group versus the other, and my program is better than yours and stuff like that. And the things that we were able to accomplish as far as closing Corn, the hopeful eventual closure of Lyman, the unprecedented $800-something-thousand+ budget decrease and upon the closing of Corn, and improvements in student outcomes and achievements with literacy tutors and interventionists and so forth. We would have had a very hard time, if not impossible time, trying to accomplish most, if not all, of those things under previous circumstances. And we really owe a lot to you. Obviously, it's the board that sets the policy, but we couldn't have done it without your help and expertise in bringing it forward into execution and getting people on board and getting people excited about the changes we were making and seeing how, yes, change is unfortunate. My father had a consulting company back in the mid-90s, and his slogan was, change is good. And change was always something that was hard for me as a young person and even as a young adult to deal with. And over time, I began to let go of a lot of things and just kind of have an attitude of it's not the end of the world. It's just a building. It's just a thing. It's just a whatever. We can do something new here. And I went to Corn School, and to see it, and I voted to close it. And to see all that stuff happen and all the other things that have come about as a result of that, I've grown up a lot as a person and learned a lot as a public servant because of you. And I just don't know what else to say. I mean, obviously we've talked so much in the 3.5 years I've been removed from official board service. We've talked so often about, we talk shop, we talk about what's going on. And, you've asked me my opinions or for advice and guidance and so forth, which means a lot to me. And I appreciate the fact that you and the other board members have put so much trust in me, even though I'm gone. But I'm looking forward to seeing what things come your way in your new life. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you more often as I come back to your house to fix more things for you. And I found a relay for your heat, so you won't have to have your heat running in the living room all the time with the circuit breaker. So we'll fix it for you soon. Hi, Kat. Thank you for everything you did for Region 13 and for me and for all the board members that I've served with in the past and currently. We love you very much.
Thank you, Jeremy, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Jeremy. I think Jamie, did you want to say something?
Am I on? Thanks, Bob.
Sure.
So I'm probably going to be the board member, Kath, you'll remember for saying the least, but you remember the words. You'll go back 4 years since I started and you'll remember a word that I mentioned. And yeah, that's quite great memory. But what I'll remember most, I think, is your depth of sincerity. You know, everybody you speak to, they're the most important person in the room at that moment. And that's very, very special indeed. We had a legendary teacher in District 13, Maryland. I'm sure you remember Tony Dyer. And Tony Dyer had a saying. Basically, he said, I don't want to see any graduate of District 13. He used the term squirting mustard on hamburgers. He had a booming voice. And it really meant he had high standards. That's all it meant. Here I am, a young kid considering culinary school, and I'm thinking, Judas Priest, squirting mustard on hamburgers. Uh-oh, am I going to let Mr. Dyer down? But I commend you for having high standards. You held yourself to high standards. I'm going to top Victor. You gave 200% of yourself. And yes, perhaps we do feel guilty for that. But that work is beneficial because your heart was always with the students. Every decision that you made, you're never going to make everybody happy. It's a thankless job, but your heart was at the right place. And that was, how does it affect the students? And that really is what it's about. To mention the number 13, I think in your 7 years, without a doubt, you've given 13 years worth of work. Perhaps 14 if I'm being 200%. But thank you, Kath. And I know you're all about the kids, so I'm going to hopefully make this thankless job tonight can be a little more okay and thanks. So come on in. Come here. Your tenure coincided with the start of Claire's introduction to District 13. So come on in. Just get in. Don't be afraid.
Hi.
Say.
Thank you.
Do you remember scooping ice cream with Kath?
Yeah.
Teacher Appreciation Day. What a day that was. And she'll never forget that. Thanks, Kath.
Thank you, Jamie.
Jamie, I'm sorry, but I spoke less than you did.
Missy, are you up? Missy, are you on?
I am. Sorry, you're breaking up. I didn't prepare anything. Sorry, I'm living the COVID dream right now. A little stressed out, just like everyone else. So let's see. I first met Kath when I went to my first Board of Ed meeting complaining. I don't know if she remembers that. It was a July meeting of the policy committee. Do you remember? And since then, you know, she was very accepting of my feedback, and you know, even those many years that I sat through many Board of Ed meetings, she was always, you know, easy to talk to, and I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate everything that she's done for our children. And I think that, you know, Doug has some big shoes to fill, but I just want to thank you for everything, and I hope that you enjoy your family. And I sent you an email, but I think you did an awesome thing by calling the snow day this afternoon. And not waking us up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, which I really appreciate. And I think that a lot of districts are not doing snow days. And at first I kind of had mixed emotions when she was like, yep, we're going to do a snow day. And I was, you know, I think where we are right now, right before Christmas, I think it's exactly what the staff and the kids need. And my kids are very excited for snow, and we got some new sleds. So I think that, you know, you definitely did the right thing and you're going out with a bang. So happy holidays, stay safe, and I'm going to stop talking now because everyone's laughing at me.
Thank you, Missy.
We would not laugh at you, Missy. Maura.
Hi, Kath. So I've known Kath in several capacities since I've first met her. She was my boss, and I loved her as my boss. And I could tell from the first day I met her was when we rolled out the red carpet at Brewster, and she walked down it like she was walking down a real red carpet. And I could tell that day that she was just going to be so fun and really have just like a great sense of humor. And what she did for our staff that day was amazing. We knew she was going to be great. Since then, I have known her in a different capacity as a Board of Ed member and also as a friend. And probably the latter is the most important to me. She has given me some advice personally that she probably may not even know has been very important to me. And I will cherish our times that we've talked together. She once said to me that she could tell that there was someone who was very important to me in my life. And I'm going to share a poem that that person thought was very appropriate. So I'm going to share that. Obviously, I'm Irish, so it's an Irish poem. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of your hand. And Kath, I hope that in your next experience and adventure that you and I will find each other at a playground with Stella and Sophia. I love you, and I really thank you for more than you know.
Thank you.
The last board member is Andrew, but I think he's working tonight.
Yeah, Bob, he said he couldn't make it. He sent me a text.
Right. Before we go any further, the board has put together a present for Kathy, and we would like to have her open in front of all of you.
I just want to say that you're very hard to shop for. So we hope you like this. And I think whoever's idea it was is perfect. So
I think this was Bob's, and I have to say, like, it's really beautiful and amazing. And thank you, Bob, for the idea.
Right.
It's a beautiful regional school district 13 tray. It's gorgeous. Oh, and it's from Nick Planetta, one of our students. Absolutely beautiful. So I can go on to serve others off of this tray. Thanks, Bob.
Breakfast in bed.
Oh, right.
Oh, sure.
I commissioned Nick to do that, and he was more than happy to make that in very rushed time for him. But he did a good job. I think it looks great. So hopefully when you ever use it, you'll remember District 13.
I
There
will.
are other people on Zoom that I don't know if you want to speak, Claudia.
Well, definitely not my place never to speak, you know that. So, I thank you so much for having me. I just hope somebody is able to tape all of this because tomorrow you're going to want to listen to it again. So hopefully this is something that's being recorded because you guys are all so lovely. Kathy and I met about 4 or 5 years ago at a scholarship committee fundraiser, a silent auction, and she was readily accepted an invitation to come, stayed, as well as Brian Falcone came as well, and I even think Beth went. So at any rate, she was always willing to go outside the box on a nighttime to, to support the scholarship committee. And now I'm a member as well on the CVEF, and I was blessed enough to get a loan. My son Gage and I, we started a math tutoring program, and as part of the budget, the biggest thing of our budget was the copying needs. And basically, we offer free math tutoring for District 13 students in the summer. And I just needed to figure out, how to get this extra money for copying. So I said, you know what? They're charging some money for the slush fund every year for the athletics. So I approached Kathy and she said, absolutely, come on in, make as many copies as you want. And that teeny little thing of knowing exactly what we needed helped us the entire summer. We were on our second summer this year in Zoom, and thanks to the great funding again for CVEF, where I proudly serve on another chair in a subcommittee, we were able to distribute T-shirts for the whole school district, and through Kathy and a big one for Beth, helping us coordinate all of that, supporting us, just really making us feel a little thing really, really special. You have a gift, as many people already recognize, and it's one that in my former life, we would have loved to have had you. You could definitely read people, and you give them just the right amount, but I think someone said the sincerity level is really big and really deep, and people feel it. But I know from retiring that you will find another niche right after you take care of your family, because you're a worker and you like to give back and you're a civil woman, civil servant. That's what you do. But I'm sure I will see you at the next fundraiser, and I will definitely give you a big hug. And I hope to give you a glass of wine at some point really soon. But thank you, Bob, for having me. And you guys are a wonderful group of people. Hi, Kevin. Good to see you too.
Thank you, Claudia.
Henry, you guys on the phone, on this Zoom. Henry, did you want to say anything?
Oh my goodness, Henry.
No? Mary Johnson is on the phone. Mary, did you want to say anything soon? Mary, did you want to say anything? You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hold on.
You're on now.
Okay. Well, it's been nice sitting in on the gathering, and Kath, you should be very proud. We're very proud of you too. And so on behalf of the support staff and myself, we wanted to thank you for all your support for our group. And you've always been open and approachable in our daily lives, and we've really appreciated it. And so whatever path you choose, enjoy it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. I think you're muted, Bob.
Mark Basil.
There you go.
Mark. Ann Juncadella.
Yes. Hi, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Kath for being so supportive of the school nurses. These have been unprecedented times for the district and for the school nurses with what's going on with the pandemic. And Kath has been so supportive of us, both professionally in terms of what the district students, staff, community needs, but also to be supportive of us individually with what's going on to help us meet the needs and get through this. And I think we've been doing a great job, and it really has a lot to do with Kath's support. So thank you again. Thank you so much, and we'll miss you. Good luck.
Did I miss anybody who's on Zoom? Now it's time for Kath.
We didn't hear from you.
I'll wait till after Kathy's on.
Okay.
You know, you're hitting that. You were at the hour mark when you start to freeze.
I know. I'm ready to
I'm just getting a tiny little bit of feedback, I think, Victor and Meryl, because you're not muted.
How do I do that?
So I think the funny part about tonight is that I put perfume on before the meeting, which is like so ridiculous. I think the point that has been made about friends and mostly family, you cannot do this work without a supportive, loving family. And you are right that they have waited. They've waited for me. And I appreciate that you recognize that. I appreciate the support that I've had from my parents, my siblings, my two daughters, Juliana and Maria, and my husband, Dave, who on many nights talked to me the whole ride home at 11:30 when I would leave a board meeting and wake him from a sound sleep and have him listen and give some non-school advice to me. When I think about fall 2013, driving down Main Street for my first interview and taking a left past Strong School and driving down Pickett Lane, and the sun was shining and those fields were beautiful. And I thought at that moment, this is where I want to be. This is where I belong. And I interviewed in the conference room, which is now my office, and Jeremy was fiddling with his flip phone. And I left that interview, and I think if I could have done a touchdown dance in the parking lot, I would have, because I thought, this job is mine. And I took my dog and my daughter Juliana's dog, Roscoe, for a walk in the woods that afternoon, and I kicked something, and many of you know this story. I kicked what I thought was a rock, but it was an antique doorknob, and it popped out of the deep leaves. And that's a doorknob that has been in my office since, and I knew then this was the door that I was meant to walk through. There has not been a day that I've pulled down Pickett Lane or pulled into any school driveway and parking lot where I have not thought, I love this place. But mostly I've thought, I love these people. This is This is not a job. This work is a commitment. It's a calling. It's conviction. And it is deeply, deeply rewarding. And we focus so much on well-being in District 13. And one of the characteristics of well-being is that you are a part of something that's bigger than yourself. This work has challenged me mightily, personally and professionally. But I've always known, I've always believed that I was a part of something so much bigger than myself. Something so profound, so positive, something that has made the difference, a big difference in the lives of children and adults alike. I've been a part of something that has changed the world and will continue to change the world. And I don't want to leave, but I do want to go. I do want to go, and I am so excited to. The conversation that Victor talked about, and then I will wrap up, that happened in the high school library was with about 15 high school students, and it was part of the focus group for my interview. And what these kids were saying was, we want leadership that cares about us. We want leadership that stays. We want to know that the people who are here, our principals, the athletic director, the superintendent, know us, care about us, believe us, and have our back. And that is what I'm looking at. I am looking at people, all of you, who are there for kids, who care about them, who love them. You have their back, and you have had mine. And I would like to say it has been the greatest honor of my professional life to serve with you on behalf of the children of District 13. Thank you. And thank you for this evening. I am deeply, deeply touched.
Thank you so much, Kath. Tonight should have been filled with wine and beer and alcohol and music and dancing, but it's not possible. So perhaps maybe this summer, after we're all vaccinated, we will have a party at my house and we'll get everybody back to have some real fun and touch. Kath, I never really knew why I got on the Board of Ed, except that my daughters wanted me to get on, so because of the Corn School closing. But since being on it, I've never really met a person like Kathy, who is so committed to our children and this district and making life better for every one of us. She has an ability that I have not seen in many, many people I have known over my 75 years, and I will miss her dearly. Kathy and I talk probably every day, usually on our way home or when there's some crisis going on, but we do speak every day, and I love being at school. I love being with her. I love how she handles every situation, and I will miss her. And but we will stay in touch. So thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to work with you. It's been the greatest joy of my life. I always thought I had great jobs, and I was always in charge of lots of people. But being on this board has really changed my life, probably more than anything else. And has allowed me to focus on education of both my grandchildren and all the children of the school. To watch Emily and Ava sing is just incredible. So thank you so much. We have time now for public comment who are not on Zoom. If anybody is out there, Ken, you want to see if anybody wants to tie in?
We've got one caller. Last four of the phone number is 5187. Please dial *6 to unmute yourself.
Hello?
You're on.
This is Danya Viola. Just want to say the relationship that I was able to develop with the superintendent, Kathy, over several years was a welcome relief from others that I had dealt with in the past. She was, to me, very much more intuitive as to where the residents are coming from, not just parents. And she did seem to take the time and listen and think things through, and willing to compromise as well, even if we didn't go in with the same way of thinking. So I've got to say that I think she, too, is so deserving of a break and time to move on with her lovely family and continue on her journey, whatever makes her happiest. But she knew, as we were both strong women, that we wouldn't always see eye to eye, but at least our differences were known in a rather easy format without real difficulty in exchange for what we had to say. So with that said, I just want to add to the well wishes, and we take it from here. And I do feel the next superintendent, Doug, does have big shoes to fill, and hopefully he'll have her as a, how do I say it, just a mentor, even if it's email for a while to get going. So thank you. That's all I have to say now. Bye.
Thank you, Tanya.
Ken, are there any other callers? Does anybody else want to speak that I didn't call on? That is
No one else on the phone at this time.
Does anybody else want to have anything to say tonight? If not, thank you all for coming. And when there's a real party, we'll call you back. And thank you again, Kath. We now have a little bit of work to do. So anybody can get off if they want to say goodnight.
Bye,
Thank you,
Kath.
Kathy.
Love you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Love
Best
you too.
Hi, Kath.
Love you.
Bye, Kath. Love you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night,
Bye,
Ed.
Kath.
Good night,
Bye,
Kath.
Kath. Good night.
Thanks for tomorrow, Kath. Thanks for tomorrow tonight. You know how that goes.
Corey, do you want to stay on?
Yeah, I'll stay on.
Okay.
Like good night, John Boy here on the show.
Dave, you can hang
The
up.
next item is on new business. The first one is possible vote on investment managers. Bob?
Yes, hi. This is the point in the meeting when everyone's eyes can glaze over as we talk about finance and investments of the retirement fund. The first thing I'd like to say, and I think we may have said it at our last meeting, Our retirement fund portfolio has been performing in the top third nationally of portfolios in general. One of the most important things I think you'd want to know is that our retirement fund is actually funded at 91% of the actuarial estimated needs. So we've got $9.6 million in the fund, and the actuaries say we probably need something closer to 10.6 million. So we're about 900,000 plus or minus off from where we would need to be fully funded, 100% funded. But at 91%, that's a very, very strong number. That's a good number. We had another meeting tonight in which we discussed some recommendations from our advisors, and we would need a vote from the board in order to switch the investments out. So I'm going to read a motion that will describe what we're switching. I'll tell you what the switching is and what the advisors, Morgan Stanley's the advisor, what their viewpoint is on it. So I'd like to make a motion that we authorize our fund managers to switch from Scharf Equity to Boston Partners Large Cap Value SMA. Growth has outperformed value by approximately 75% over the past 5 years. They feel that due to COVID-19, the recovery could take longer than expected and growth could be challenging. Therefore, they'd like to change the manager to one that still focuses on high quality companies that have lower growth profiles and less cyclical businesses. Boston Partners would additionally be expected to pay a higher level of dividend income than AMI, although this is not their stated investment mandate. Value managers also have a history of protecting better to the downside during more challenging markets. We reviewed this at the ERC, and the ERC team agreed with this consensus. We want to switch from Congress Asset Management Mid-Cap Growth to Nuance Mid-Cap Value. It's the same rationale as above, that we're going to switch from a growth fund to a value fund. Then they want to switch out of the Boyd Watterson Intermediate Term Fixed Income and Western Asset Intermediate Maturity Fixed Income to Parametric Eaton Vance Short-Term Corporate Bond Ladder and Ryan LML Custom Liability Portfolio. Their analysis is that they're very concerned with the volatility of interest rates as well. And since Treasury and many corporate bonds are paying negative real interest rates, we want to do our best to insulate against both interest rate and credit risk in the fixed income markets. Being a short-term corporate bond ladder will achieve both these goals, but investing in investment grade corporate bonds with 1 to 3 year maturities and holding the bonds until maturity. When one bond matures, the proceeds are then reinvested in a 3-year bond. This also lets us take advantage of rising interest rates, which is a risk, even though the Fed has stated that interest rates should remain low until at least 2022. Okay, so what they're really saying here is when you invest in a bond, as interest rates rise, the value of the bonds go down. And that's a risk to our value if we were required to cash out of those bonds at a given time in order to pay the liabilities. So by structuring it with laddered bonds, bonds will become mature and we can cash them out at full value. So there's no risk to the principal, but we will have earned the interest that was due on them. They will also mature at a rate that will more than satisfy the obligation of the fund to pay the benefits to the retirees. So basically, this is the cash that's going to be paying the people that are retired. And every time those bonds come due, they'll just be rolled into the next ones if there's excess. So the primary discussion, so that is the motion. to accept that. This is a 5-year ladder, so as the first year matures, it will pay the first year obligations. Anything extra would get rolled into the next one. So that's the rationale behind making that move. We were all in support of it, and that was the motion to approve. I just wanted to give you a little more insight after that, if we could have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. So the one thing I wanted to let you know is that currently that short-term investment, bond ladder investment, will be roughly 25% of the portfolio. And 75% of it will be in equities, in stocks that carry a higher risk, but a higher opportunity for reward. So having roughly $2.6 million invested in the short-term bonds is essentially putting that money on the sideline. Of that 2.6 million over the next 5 years, roughly 2 million of that will be needed to cover the obligations of the pensioners. So one of the discussions we had at the meeting, which we did not go forward with, was possibly reducing that 2.6 million down closer to the 2 million so that we're at an 80-20 rather than a 75-25. We would then be taking on slightly higher risk, but it would give us the potential over that 5 years for closing about $200,000 to $300,000 in that gap to getting us to 100% funding levels. Having said that, the takeaway from the meeting is I'm going to have a discussion with Christine Gerasi on her viewpoints on how she feels about that. We also would need to check if our documentation allows us to go to say 80-20 from the current roughly 75-25. So that's some takeaways. So we may revisit this in the future, but at this point, I feel very confident that what our managers have told us makes a lot of sense. The rest of the members of the ERC that have heard the discussion, including Christine at the prior meeting, she wasn't at tonight's meeting, she also felt comfortable. So with that, we make the recommendation to the full board to accept these recommendations for the changes in the assets and the investments. Bob, you're on mute. And I don't know if anyone had any questions.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor of the motion? Say aye. Aye. Everybody? Thank you. Thank you, Bob. As the next item is, as you know, Kat's leaving on December 31st, and we need to have an interim superintendent for the January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Corey and DiMaggio has graciously agreed to do that, but we need a motion, and we have to get approval.
I have some language, Bob.
Yep.
I move the Regional School District 13 Board of Education appoint Corey and DiMaggio, Director of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment, as interim superintendent of Regional School District 13 for the period beginning January 1st, 2021 to January 3rd, 2021.
I'll second that.
Any comments?
Yeah, Corey, I have one question for Corey.
Sure.
You want to do this?
I do want to do this. I'm all set, Bob.
Okay.
Big shoes to fill though for 3 days. Big shoes to fill.
I know. And I also wanted to make sure this is of your own free will. There's no one behind you with a shotgun, is there?
No.
Okay.
I got great leadership. I learned from the best.
Yeah,
Okay,
I said to Corey, I mean, what could happen over a weekend, really?
Yeah, tell me about it.
We expect that a tree will fall across Picket Lane on January 1st.
No.
17 hours of contact tracing. No, I'm kidding. That's not going to happen. None of the boilers will go. Everything's going to be great. And no matter what happens, Corey can handle it.
Yeah. Corey, thank you so much for stepping up and helping us out.
Absolutely. I'm honored. Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Say aye.
You want
Aye.
to come in and say thank you? Okay.
Anything else? Anything else? No. Yeah.
Norm, thank you for that proclamation. It was amazing.
Oh,
That was
I'm glad. And we'll have a copy coming your way very shortly. I've got to get a couple of signatures. I don't plan on doing that tomorrow. So
I don't think you can.
and it will be under glass for you.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're so welcome. I had a great time doing it.
Well, the item C is a possible vote to accept the Merwin grant. While the actual paperwork hasn't been completed, they have offered $5,500.
Oh my goodness, you're covered in snow. Oh.
$500 to support a blended learning virtual academy that Corey's been working on. While we don't have the check in, but we do have an offer, I'd like to have a motion to accept the grant so that we don't have to do it in January. Have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next item is any other public comment? Ken?
We still have one caller on the line.
Danya?
Yep. *6 to unmute yourself. 5187.
Ken, if you wanted to read a poem to me, go ahead.
Now we're in public.
Hello? Okay,
Yeah.
am I unmuted?
You're on.
Okay, Danya Viola. I'm now down to business. In as much as I haven't gotten a response back from my asking about the new superintendent coming on board, for someone to get back to me, and Bob, Mr. Moore, you said somebody definitely would, and I did follow up with a call to Kathy, and I didn't hear back from you. I'm hoping that within the next few days you could take the time to respond to that, if you don't mind. I just don't feel I should, have to keep making calls to get an answer. I think we could do better there. And just want to say that when I was on the last time, if there's any distractions to be made when, someone's on the phone having the floor with public comment, or not just a part of your board itself, if someone doesn't unmute and you get the disturbance from another line, it's not only distracting, but it's really disrespectful, because all kinds of sounds, and I didn't know that you were hearing me, but Kathy said I did get through, but it was quite difficult with my hearing loss and all too, even with my hearing aids. So I hope that, somehow it can control the meeting better there when someone doesn't opt to mute when they're not on the floor. So I hope you understand that. And as far as the pension fund goes, I think the board should consider really about getting hold of our legislative representatives, because the state of Connecticut has been known to be kind of reaching into teachers' pension funds for other purposes. And we really have to kind of draw the line there and request that, no more of this, because it's just like going beyond the cap on spending that they've done over the years. Thank you for listening.
Danya, I was just able to meet with Bob today and shared that request with him just today, that about the question you had about Dr. Shook's compensation. So Bob is on the job.
We'll get it tonight. Just one more note is that the pension fund that we're talking about, Danya, is for non-teachers. So it doesn't go into the state.
Okay.
It doesn't go
Well,
into the state.
yeah, that's been the responsibility of the district. Okay, Bob. Thank you for clarifying that.
Any other public comment?
No other callers.
I know that Juan Stefan was just trying to get home and was going to call in and say, but I think she'll contact you directly, Kath. Thank you all for coming.
Good night, everyone.
Move to adjourn.
Good night, Kath. Oh, hi, Dave. I love your tree.
Beautiful.
There's like 300 bulbs on it.
It's awesome.
Amazing. Cat did it all. I did not even put a hook through a bulb to put up there.
This is my Frank, Lucy. Frank's always making cameo appearances. The short Italian guy. I've got my own now. Oops, sorry. Don't tell Frank I said that. Okay, good. All right. Thanks, everybody. That was wonderful. It touched my heart tonight.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Night.
night, John Boy.
Good night.
Good night.